and his foolish disciples.
In the Indian state of Tamil Nadu, there is a beautiful city called Thanjavur. Next to that city, there was a small village named Nanjayampati. In that village, a poor couple lived. They had 5 sons named Madayan, Mati, Mudan, Pedai, and Melashan. None of them even took shelter in school during the rain. They had no education and no common sense. They wouldn't listen to what others said. They wouldn't go to work, and no one would give them a job. Their parents kept scolding them. So they all made a plan. If we go and ask someone for food, they will mock us and say, "Why are you begging with a healthy body? You should be doing some work." If we all become disciples of a guru, whatever we ask for, people will give us, and they will give it respectfully. So, they decided to find a good guru and become his disciples. Accordingly, all 5 of them left home. Thus, they all went in search of a guru, wandering from village to village. In one village, they saw a guru sitting inside a house. 2 people came to him and narrated a case. One said that the other had stolen his buffalo, and when asked for his buffalo, offered a bull instead. The other person denied it, saying he had only driven away a bull, not a buffalo. But in reality, he had indeed taken the buffalo. The guru knew the truth. He said, "If you give me 100 gold coins, I will give a verdict in your favor." The man agreed to give 100 gold coins. The guru then told the thief to paint the bull black and give it to the other man. The 5 fools, who had been watching all this through the window, came inside as soon as the 2 men left. They fell at the guru's feet and said, "You are the guru we have been searching for a long time. We have been wandering in search of a good guru. We will not find a guru like you. Please bless us and accept us as your disciples." The guru's name was Paramartha. Seeing these 5, he thought to himself, "We have got good fools. We can send them to collect whatever we need from house to house and sit and eat comfortably." He lifted them up and said, "From now on, you are all my disciples. Do not worry." After becoming disciples of Paramartha, the 5 of them received good food. Every house they went to gave them food immediately, and they ate well and became healthy. While wandering from village to village, one day they had to cross a river. The guru and the disciples sat down and discussed. They said, "If we go during the day, the river will be awake and might swallow us. So, let's go at night when the river will be asleep." When night came, they all went to the riverbank. However, they were afraid to step into the river, thinking, "What if the river is awake and swallows us?" They wondered how to find out if the river was awake or asleep. Then Madayan had an idea. He said, "If we light a matchstick and put it in the river, we will know." So they lit a matchstick and put it in the river. When they heard a whoosh sound, they immediately said, "Oh no, the river is awake. We shouldn't step into it now." After a while, they dipped the same stick in the river again, but this time without lighting it. Since the stick was not on fire, when they put it in the river, there was no sound. Immediately they all said, "The river is asleep. Let's all get down and cross the river." Holding on to each other, they walked through the river and reached the other side. However, they had a doubt. What if the river has swallowed someone? One of the fools suggested, "Let's count everyone. If there are 6 of us, it means the river hasn't swallowed anyone." So, he counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but he forgot to count himself. He said, "There are only 5 of us. The river has swallowed 1 person." Madayan said, Wait, you must have counted wrong. Let me count." He also counted, leaving himself out, and counted only the other 5. Everyone made the same mistake. They sat on the riverbank and cried, "Oh no, the river has swallowed one of us." At that moment, a villager passed by and saw the 6 of them sitting and crying together. He asked, "Why are you crying?" They replied, "We were 6 people who crossed this river. The river has swallowed one of us. What should we do now?" They cried again, saying, "Before we got into the river, we checked if it was asleep. But still the river has swallowed one of us." And they cried, hitting their mouths and stomachs. Realizing that the guru and his disciples were complete fools, the villager said, "All 6 of you are safe. The river hasn't swallowed any of you." But the 5 disciples started crying again, saying, "How can you say that? You don't know. The river has swallowed one of us." Seeing them cry, the villager said, "I will prove to you that there are 6 of you." The guru and his disciples agreed. The villager brought a long bamboo stick and said, "I will now give each of you a tap on the back with this stick. As you receive the tap, count 1, 2, and move to the other side." The guru and the 5 disciples agreed. The villager tapped each one with the stick, and they counted 1, 2, 3, and moved to the other side. Finally, he tapped the guru, who counted 6 and moved. All 6 of them thanked the villager, saying, "Thank you for finding all 6 of us." And then they left. After crossing the river, the guru and his disciples continued walking. Exhausted from the long walk, the guru sat down under a tree, saying he couldn't walk any further. Seeing this, the disciples felt sad and decided they needed to buy a horse for their guru to travel. They left the guru sitting on a porch and went in search of a horse. As they were walking, they saw a horse tied in a pumpkin field, with a large pumpkin lying near its feet. They approached the owner of the field and said, "We want to buy a horse for our guru. Will you sell this horse to us?" The man replied, "I am not selling this horse. It is a pet I have raised with care." The disciples, disappointed, said, "If you won't sell the horse, at least sell us the egg it has laid." The owner thought to himself, "A horse's egg? These people are real fools." He decided to sell the pumpkin, calling it a horse's egg, for a good price. He said, "Yes, that is a horse's egg, but it is very expensive." The disciples replied, "No matter the price, tell us." The owner said, 100 gold coins. The disciples immediately gave him 100 gold coins, took the pumpkin, and carried it on their heads as they walked back. The foolish disciples were walking back to the guru with the pumpkin on their heads. Feeling tired, they placed the pumpkin safely on a tree branch and lay down under the tree to rest. A strong wind blew, causing the branch to break and the pumpkin to fall. The pumpkin landed on a rabbit that was sleeping below. The rabbit, unable to bear the pain, jumped up and ran away. Seeing this, the 5 fools exclaimed, "Oh no! The horse egg has broken! Did you see how fast the horse ran out of the egg? Even as a foal, it runs so fast! It would have been great if we had this horse!" They chased after the rabbit, trying to catch it, but despite their efforts, the rabbit disappeared into a burrow. One day, after having their meal, the 5 disciples sat under a tree and started talking. One of the fools had an idea. He said, "Instead of going from house to house, begging and wandering from village to village, we should raise a monkey and teach it to steal. It will steal from somewhere and bring it to us, and we can sit and eat comfortably." They caught a monkey from somewhere and taught it to steal. The monkey stole well and brought things to them, and they enjoyed it. One day, the monkey went to the palace and stole jewels and money from the royal treasury. These fools did not know that the jewels belonged to the king. They wore the jewels and walked down the street. Seeing this, the palace guards arrested them for stealing the royal jewels and put them in prison. From the prison, the guru said, "It is not right to think of living by stealing." After chasing away the monkey, the guru and his disciples were thinking about what to do next. It was then that the Pongal festival arrived. On the day of the festival, the government announced that there would be a Jallikattu event, and those who tamed the bulls would receive great prizes. The 5 disciples decided that they should participate in the event and tame a bull. They believed that those who tamed the bulls would receive a royal position. They thought, "We will definitely participate in this competition, win, make our guru the king, and live a luxurious life in the palace." On the day of Pongal, they set off for the Jallikattu event. As they were walking, they saw a limping cow struggling to walk, with a plump woman chasing after it. The woman was shouting, "Oh, someone please catch my cow, it's running away!" Seeing this, the 5 disciples thought, "Oh, a Jallikattu bull is running, let's go catch it!" And they ran after the cow. The reason the cow was running was that it was Pongal day, and the woman had decorated the cow's horns with colors and had prepared pongal to feed it. She brought the pongal in a bowl, but the cow started running. The cow ran because the woman had taken the pongal in a bowl that she usually used to mix medicine for the cow. Seeing the bowl, the cow thought she was coming to give it medicine and started running. While trying to catch the cow, one of the disciples got kicked by the cow, breaking his teeth. Another disciple grabbed the cow's horns and pulled so hard that both horns came off in his hands. The cow died. They carried the dead cow to the Jallikattu arena, boasting that they had tamed the bull. The people there laughed at them, saying, "They claim to have tamed a bull, but they have only caught a limping cow." One night, the guru was sleeping soundly when he suddenly shouted, "Ah, gold, diamonds, treasure!" The disciples, hearing this, rushed to the guru and woke him up, asking why he was shouting in his sleep. The guru said, "I dreamt that there is a treasure buried in the corner of the garden of our house." Immediately, the 5 disciples were overjoyed. One of them said, "We can eat vadai and payasam every day with that treasure money." The guru added, "We can build a palace here like a king." Another fool said, "I can buy a horse for everyone." They all dreamed of living a luxurious life. They decided to dig up the spot. The guru advised, "If we dig during the day, everyone will see us. So let's dig at night when everyone is asleep." Accordingly, they went to the garden at night and started digging. After digging for a long time, they found a large pit. They put their hands inside and felt something round. Thinking they had found the treasure chest, they excitedly pulled it out without looking. When they finally looked, they saw it was a skull. Terrified, they screamed and ran away. The guru and his disciples grew greens in their garden with great care. The greens flourished beautifully. One morning, when one of the disciples went to the garden, he started shouting, "Oh no! Everything is gone!" Hearing this, the guru and the other disciples ran to the garden to see what had happened. The disciple lamented that a cow had eaten all the greens. The guru was distressed, saying, "We worked so hard to grow these greens, and now they are all ruined." The guru asked the disciples for a solution to prevent the cow from eating the greens. One disciple suggested that they should give some greens to the cow before it comes to graze. Another disciple suggested growing greens in a separate area just for the cow. The guru immediately rejected this idea, saying, "Why should we give the greens we grew to the cow?" Then another disciple suggested that since the cow grazes at night, they should pluck all the greens at night and keep them inside the house, then replant them in the morning. The guru rejected this idea as well. Finally, one disciple suggested planting the greens upside down so that the cow wouldn't be able to graze on them. The guru found this idea acceptable, and they planted the greens upside down. However, since the roots were exposed, all the greens withered. Seeing this, another disciple suggested covering the greens with pots to prevent them from rotting. Following this advice, they went to the market the next day, bought many pots, and covered the greens with them. As a result, all the greens rotted and were destroyed. The guru and his disciples, very worried, finally decided to catch and tie up the cow. That night, a cow came to graze, but it was not the usual cow. It was a different, very thin cow. They caught and tied up the cow that night. They tortured the cow severely. One disciple branded it, another twisted its tail, and another broke its horns and jumped on its stomach. They planned to demand a lot of money from the cow's owner when he came looking for it. The next day, the cow's owner, who was a rowdy, came and asked, "Who dared to catch and tie up my cow?" He fought with them and beat them all up. The guru and his disciples fled the village. One day, a guru was cooking in the ashram when he realized that the salt had run out. He called his disciple and asked him to go and buy some salt. The disciple set out to buy the salt. The guru instructed him to make sure to get good quality salt and to inquire thoroughly with the shopkeeper before buying it. The disciple agreed and left. He crossed the river and went to the shop. At the shop, he asked for salt and told the shopkeeper that his guru had instructed him to get good quality salt. The shopkeeper replied that there is no such thing as good or bad salt. Salt is just salt. The disciple insisted, saying that his guru had specifically asked for good and pure salt, and that he would be scolded if he brought back the wrong kind. Annoyed by the disciple's persistence, the shopkeeper told him to wash the salt before using it. The disciple agreed, took the salt, and started back. While crossing the river, he thought it would be better to wash the salt there itself, instead of waiting until he got home. So he dipped the bag of salt into the river to clean it. As a result, all the salt dissolved in the river. Unaware of this, the disciple took the empty bag back to the guru. The guru looked at the bag and asked where the salt was. The disciple, confused, said he had bought the salt from the shopkeeper but didn't know where it had gone. He insisted that he hadn't put the bag down anywhere along the way. He then explained that he had washed the salt in the river as instructed, but now it was missing. The guru was also puzzled, wondering where the salt could have gone. "Guru, what if we start practicing medicine?" asked the fool. "What benefit will we get from it?" asked Paramartha Guru. "We will earn money. Additionally, we will gain merit," said the idiot. "Let's do it then," said the guru. "Only for humans?" asked the simpleton. "We will treat humans, we will treat cows. We will treat children. We will treat monkeys," said the fool. The news that Paramartha and his 5 disciples were practicing medicine spread throughout the village. A man suffering from fever came. The fool touched his body and said, "Guru, his body is burning like fire." "In that case, we must immediately cool his body," said Paramartha. "What should we do for that?" asked the fool. "Take this man and immerse him in the tank of water. Let him stay there for an hour," said the guru. Immediately, the fool and the idiot carried the patient and put him in the water tank. The fool and the idiot took turns pressing him into the water. The patient screamed, "Oh no, mother!" and ran away. After a while, an old woman came. "My eye hurts," she said. "There is no time now. Just pluck out your eye and give it to us. We will fix it," said the fool. The old woman screamed, "Oh no!" and ran away. A little later, a man came saying, "My whole body is shivering." "It's shivering because you are idle. Tie your whole body with a rope. Then everything will be fine," said Paramartha. The fool and the idiot dragged the man and tied him to a post. Even after tying him, the man's body continued to shiver. Seeing this, the fool said, "Guru, this is a disease caused by cold. To cure it, we must heat his body." Hearing this, the idiot took a burning stick and heated the patient's body with stripes. Unable to bear the pain, the patient collapsed. After a while, a man came complaining of a toothache. "If we remove the aching tooth, it will be fine," said Paramartha. The disciples, however, knocked out all his teeth with a knife and tied them up in a bundle. "Now you will never have a toothache again," said Paramartha. A little later, a man with elephantiasis came. "There are only 2 types of treatments for this in the world. Either cut off the good leg and attach an elephant's leg in its place, or carve out the flesh from this leg to match the other leg," said Paramartha. The man with elephantiasis escaped, saying, "Just leave the leg alone." "Sir, I have a persistent cough," said another man who came. Paramartha thought, "The cough is because he is opening his mouth. What if we close his mouth?" "Close his mouth," he ordered. Following the guru's words, the fool rolled up some torn cloths and stuffed them into the coughing man's mouth. My goat is not eating grass properly," said a man who came. Seeing the goat, the guru said, "Something must be stuck in its throat. If we make its mouth bigger, it will be fine," said the fool. The idiot brought a knife. The fool took it and was about to cut the goat. Frightened, the goat's owner pulled the goat and ran away. Everyone talked about how the guru and his disciples were behaving in the name of medicine. The village elders decided not to let the guru and his disciples enter the village anymore. Under the tree, Paramartha was sleeping while sitting. Suddenly, he woke up. He stood up and exclaimed joyfully, "Disciples! It is said that Buddha attained enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. Similarly, I have now gained wisdom under this Puvarasam tree." Hearing this, the disciples said, "Buddha had a Bodhi tree, our Paramartha has a Puvarasam tree. Long live the tree that gave wisdom," and they circled the tree and worshipped it. "Disciples, let us partner with someone and cultivate crops. We will make a huge profit," said the guru. Hearing Paramartha's idea, a man agreed to cultivate crops with them, believing that the guru and his disciples would be easily deceived. "Since it is a partnership, one of us should take what grows above the ground, and the other should take what grows below the ground. Only then will the profit be equal. Do you want what grows below the ground or above it?" asked the partner. The guru and the disciples went aside to discuss. "Guru, we don't want what is above the ground. Who will guard it? Let's take what is below the ground. Everything will be safe," said the disciples. Believing the disciples' words, Paramartha said, "Everything below the ground is ours." The partner, who intended to deceive them, planted crops like corn, millet, and ragi, which grow above the ground. Seeing the plants grow lushly, Paramartha exclaimed, "Wow! If it is so lush above the ground, it must be even more fruitful below. This time we are sure to make a good profit." The disciples thought that their partner had been thoroughly deceived and that he did not understand their plan. Harvest time came. The partner called the guru and the disciples and said, "Look here, we must not go back on our word. You take everything below the ground, and I will take only what is above." After he harvested everything, the guru and the disciples started digging the soil. Wherever they dug, they found only roots. "Guru, we have been cheated!" cried the fool. "Some magic has happened," lamented the simpleton. "Guru, the people from the underworld have stolen everything from below," said the idiot. "We worked hard all these days, and everything has gone to waste," regretted Paramartha. The foolish disciple said, "Guru, next time we cultivate, let's take what is above the ground. He should be deceived just like we were." When the next planting season came, the guru and the disciples declared, "This time, everything above the ground is ours." The partner, intending to deceive them again, planted peanuts and sweet potatoes, which grow underground. The guru and the disciples worked hard. "Guru, the plants are growing well. We are going to make a huge profit," said the fool. Harvest time came. "Quickly take everything above the ground. I need to dig the soil," said the deceiver. Seeing that nothing was bearing fruit on the plants, the disciples were dismayed. "Guru, we have been cheated again!" cried the fool. "Guarding day and night has been in vain," lamented the simpleton. "This must be some devil's work," said the idiot. Paramartha, after thinking alone, came to a conclusion. "Disciples, this is not the work of the devil or Saturn. It is all my fault," he said. "What? Your fault? What is it?" asked the disciples in surprise. "When I slept under the tree, I said I gained wisdom. That was wrong. I just realized yesterday that the tree was not a Puvarasam tree. I mistakenly slept under some other tree. Come, let's go to the real Puvarasam tree," he said. The disciples began to meditate again, saying, "Puvarasam tree, give us wisdom." Suddenly, Paramartha's bedroom caught fire and burned down. Along with it, the guru's beard got slightly singed. Seeing this, the 5 disciples were worried. "Guru, your 3-foot-long beard has become so short," cried Mati. "Let it be. Don't worry about it. Haven't you heard the saying, even if the mustache is shortened, the valor doesn't decrease. Even if the beard is shortened, the belly doesn't shrink? Look, my belly is still the same," said Paramartha. Hearing this, the disciples were happy. "Guru, if you stay like this, how will you take care of your belly?" asked the fool. "Guru, yesterday was the king's birthday celebration. At that time, they announced a scheme to provide jobs for the physically challenged. So somehow we are acting like physically challenged people and earning money," said the idiot. "All right. If everyone goes together, it will be troublesome. So go separately. Act like a mute, a deaf person, a blind person, and a lame person. Only Mandu will stay here with me as my assistant," said the guru, touching the sweat on his belly and sending them off with a mark of valor. Fool went to the army commander and asked for a job. "I'll tell you a secret. Go and tell it to the king," said the commander. Thinking he would get a job by pretending to be deaf, the fool said, "What? Snake gourd? I haven't seen it." The commander repeated the secret. "Oh, the king has only one nose, I know that," said the fool. The commander, hitting his head, muttered, "What can I do with this deaf fool?" Hearing this, the fool got angry. "Who's deaf? You're deaf! Your king is deaf! His grandfather was deaf!" he shouted. That was it. The next moment, the commander ordered, "Pour hot oil into this fool's ears." The fool went to the royal physician. "I am here to help you," he said. "All right, quickly run and fetch some herbs," said the physician. Determined to get the job, the fool got up slowly and pretended to limp. "Fool! If I ask you to fetch herbs for a snakebite victim, why are you limping?" scolded the physician. The fool got angry. "Who are you calling a limper? Look at my strength," he said, kicking the physician with his legs. The physician, who was thrown far away, ordered, "Tie this deceiver to a post and release 100 donkeys around him. Let them all kick him together." The fool then went to the chief poet. "You need to read and recite what is written on these old palm leaves." "This is your job," said the poet. The fool decided that if he pretended to be blind, he could keep the job till the end. The poet gave him a palm leaf to read. The fool, closing one eye and rolling the other, read, "With a crooked pot, he went to the temple." "Fool! The king went to the temple with the queen. You are reading it all wrong. Are you blind?" asked the poet. "Poet, my eyes are not blind. Look here," said the fool, opening both his eyes wide. "You deceived me? Watch what I do to you," said the poet, dragging him away and ordering to burn his eyes. The fool then went straight to the king, believing that pretending to be mute would get him a job, and stood silently. "What do you want?" asked the king. The fool remained silent. "I'm asking you, why are you standing silently? Are you mute?" asked the king. The fool made sounds like "peb peb pe," pretending to be mute. "Oh, poor thing. He seems to be mute," said the king. Losing patience, the fool finally said, "Enough of this pity, my king. Give this mute person a job." Hearing him speak well, the king ordered, "Sew his mouth shut for pretending to be mute and deceiving me." The guru and the disciple were at the monastery. It seems those four have failed in their jobs. They will return with a lot of money after finishing their work. "So, throw the old rice in the pot to the dogs. We can cook fresh rice and have a feast," said Paramartha Guru. As instructed, the disciple threw the old rice to the dogs. After a while, when the crying and lamenting disciples returned, the disciple exclaimed, "Oh no, we threw away the old rice to the dogs. What will we eat now?" He lamented and fainted from hunger. A king in a certain country was gradually losing his eyesight. The doctors advised that if he applied the tusks of a white elephant to his eyes, his vision would be restored. The king announced that anyone who could capture a white elephant alive would be rewarded with an entire village. This news reached Paramartha and his disciples. "Guru, as far as we know, elephants are black, right? Is there even such a thing as a white elephant?" asked Mati. "In the heavenly realm, there is an elephant named Airavata with Indra. It is said to be white," replied Madayan. "Guru, do you have the courage to capture that elephant?" asked Mutal. The guru immediately became angry. "Coward, is there anything I cannot do? But Indra and I have had an unresolved enmity since our past lives. Therefore, I do not wish to go there," he said, stroking his beard. "Gurudeva, I have an idea. What if we paint the elephant white, like we paint houses?" suggested Mandu. "Yes, Guru. If we apply lime to the elephant, it will turn white," exclaimed Mudin. "The king can barely see. He won't be able to detect our trick," rejoiced Muddle. "Ah, each of us is going to get a village as a reward. From now on, we will all be little kings," said Mati, rolling on the ground. "Bravo! Bravo! Now your brains are working well," praised Paramartha. Immediately, he took his disciples and went to the elephant keeper. "Please lend us your elephant for just one day. We will pay you well. You must come with us too," requested Mati. Tempted by the money, the keeper agreed. After it got dark, Madayan brought pots of lime. He poured it over the elephant as if performing an abhishekam, ritual bath, while Mutal applied it to the elephant's mouth with fear. Paramartha used his stick to paint the elephant in stripes. "Guru, when the elephant is black, its tusks are white." "So if the elephant is white, shouldn't the tusks be black?" asked the keeper. "Yes, what you say is true," said Muddle, applying soot to the tusks. "The king must believe that this elephant was captured from the heavenly realm. Therefore, we must attach 2 wings to it," said Paramartha. After completing all the work, the guru inspected the elephant and declared, "Wonderful. This is indeed the elephant from Indra's realm," and bowed to its trunk. The next day, there was a crowd in front of the palace, cheering. Ministers surrounded the king as he came to see the white elephant. Seeing the elephant tied up in the open, the king asked, "This is amazing. Where did you capture this elephant from?" "We searched all the way to the heavenly realm," boasted Mandu. "Oh, only we know the hardships we faced to capture it," said Mudin. When a minister pointed out that the tusks were black, Muddle replied, "Those are diamond-tipped tusks. That's how they are." As they were talking, a strong wind suddenly started blowing. The wings attached to the elephant were torn off and fell to the ground. Immediately, it started raining heavily. As the rainwater hit the elephant, the lime began to wash off, and the white elephant turned black. Seeing this, the guru and his disciples trembled with fear. Soon, Paramartha's disguise was exposed, and they were punished as usual. Paramartha and his disciples entered a village called Kandapuram. At that time, the villagers were in great fear. The reason was that a human sacrifice priest named Nagappa was roaming in that village. "Guru, whatever we do, it always ends up being dangerous for us." "Why is that?" asked Maddie. "It seems we all committed many sins in our past lives," said Paramartha. "Guru, we must immediately do something to remedy this," said the fool. That night, the guru and his disciples secretly discussed. "Guru, if we perform a yajna like the sages, all our sins will be washed away," said the fool. "That will cost a lot of money. We can't afford it. If you want, we can offer a human sacrifice," said Paramartha. "Human sacrifice? Oh no!" all the disciples screamed. "Disciples! If we want good times to come, we must offer a human sacrifice. There is no other way," concluded Paramartha. "Then who will we sacrifice?" asked Mandu. "If we try to catch someone else, we will get caught. So, disciples, one of you must be sacrificed. Who will volunteer for this noble deed?" asked Paramartha. That was it. "Oh no, if I get sacrificed, who will light your cigar?" cried the fool. "Oh no, I won't do it," cried the fool with his nose. "Guru, we won't be sacrificed either," said the other disciples as they ran away. Paramartha didn't know what to do. He stroked his beard and thought, "All right, disciples, none of you need to be sacrificed. Another way comes to mind. Let's do that," said Paramartha, and lay down. The next day, all the disciples proudly roamed the village saying, "Our guru is going to offer a human sacrifice." The news reached the king of that village. He mistook Paramartha for the human sacrifice priest Nagappa. "Capture Nagappa and his gang alive," he ordered. The day for the human sacrifice arrived. Paramartha and his disciples secretly made their way to the Kali temple at the edge of the village. When they reached the temple, Paramartha was overjoyed. Seeing the statue of Bhadrakali with a skull garland and long teeth, the disciples trembled in fear. "Oh, Kali! As promised, we are going to offer you a human sacrifice. You must protect us." "Hail, Kali!" said Paramartha, bowing at Kali's feet. The disciples also fell down and worshipped. The sound of the bell from the palace announced that it was midnight. At that moment, the palace guards, who were hiding around the temple, became alert. "Disciples, quickly place the life we brought on the sacrificial altar," urged Paramartha. The disciples hurriedly placed the life they had brought on the sacrificial altar. "Om, Reem, Bhadrakali, here is the human sacrifice," shouted Paramartha passionately, swinging the sacrificial sword on the altar. Immediately, the palace guards rushed in and surrounded Paramartha and his disciples. Everyone eagerly looked at the sacrificial altar to see who Paramartha had sacrificed. There, a lizard lay in two pieces. The palace guards were both shocked and surprised. "Damn, we thought he was a human sacrifice priest. He turned out to be a lizard sacrifice priest," they said, taking Paramartha and his disciples to the king. "King, why did you arrest us? What wrong did we do?" asked Paramartha. "Offering human sacrifice is a crime according to our country's law," said the king. "Did we sacrifice humans? We only killed a lizard," said Paramartha. "That is your mistake. The lizard is the guardian deity of our people. It is also on our country's flag. For killing that lizard and disrespecting it, I order all of you to be imprisoned," said the king. The disciples of Guru Paramartha were asked to work as laundrymen at the house of Zamindar Jambulinga. The guru insisted that they needed a donkey to carry the loads, but the disciples offered to do the work themselves. However, the guru insisted on having a real donkey. That evening, a donkey was brought to the monastery. The guru, inspecting the donkey, twisted its tail, causing the donkey to kick him. The guru, in pain, scolded his disciples for not informing the donkey about his greatness. A local thief, aware of the donkey at the monastery, planned to steal it. One night, he untied the donkey but had to flee when he heard the disciples approaching. In his haste, he stood in the donkey's place. The disciples, seeing a man instead of the donkey, were puzzled. The thief claimed he was originally a man cursed by a sage to become a donkey and had now returned to his human form. The guru, believing the thief, was relieved that the sage had not turned a lion or tiger into a donkey, which could have been dangerous. The disciples, now working at the zamandar's house without the donkey, took the clothes to a pond covered in alga. Following the zamandar's order to make the clothes white, Matty scrubbed the colorful clothes on stones, tearing them apart. Madayan soaked a white dhoti in algae, turning it green. Muttal and Mudin twisted and wrung a single cloth into many pieces. "Finally, we have done a great job," they rejoiced as they headed back to the zamandar's house. "You gave us one cloth and I have turned it into 10, boasted Muttal. "I have turned the white cloth green," exclaimed Madayan. The zamandar was shocked to see the ruined clothes. "You fools! You have torn the whole cloth into rags! I trusted you with this task and you ruined everything," he lamented, chasing them away. The disciples, feeling misunderstood, returned to the monastery, lamenting, "It seems no one understands our skills." Mati had a strong desire to go fishing in the sea. He expressed his wish to the guru. Hearing this, Madayan said, "Guru, if we go during the day, the big waves will drown us. So, we should go at night." "Yes, Guru. That's when the sea will be asleep," said Mandu. "But it will be completely dark." "What will we do?" asked Mudan. "I have a torch in my hand," said the fool. The mention of the sea scared Paramartha. However, he agreed because he didn't want his disciples to think he was a coward. The disciples happily prepared a fishing rod each. Night came. The guru and his disciples set out to fish by the light of the torch. On the shore, there was a boat. Paramartha and his 5 disciples boarded it. Mati and Madayan started rowing. Mudan cast his fishing line. A frog got caught on his hook. Seeing this, the disciples asked, "What is this?" "It looks strange." "Strange." Forgetting that it was a frog, Paramartha explained, "This is also a type of fish. If it eats a lot and becomes fat, it will grow legs like this." Mati then said, "In that case, we can tie up these legged fish and raise them at home." After that, Mandu's fishing line caught only a small fish. "Guru, I have an idea. Even though there are many fish outside the boat, we get only a few. So, let's make some holes in the boat and place some insects nearby. To eat those insects, the fish will come into the boat through the holes. We can catch them immediately," said the fool. "Bravo! That's a great idea," praised Paramartha. Following his idea, they made a hole each with the nails from the boat. That was it. Immediately, seawater gushed into the boat. Seeing this, the disciples screamed, "Oh no!" and jumped up, causing the boat to rock even more. Soon, the boat filled with water and sank into the sea. The guru and the disciples floundered in the water, shouting and struggling. Hearing the noise they made, some fishermen came swimming and rescued everyone. Back at the shore, the disciples asked, "How did our boat capsize?" Paramartha replied, "The sea and the fish conspired together to capsize our boat. In that case, we must somehow subdue the arrogance of the sea and the mischief of the fish," said Mati. "Guru, we will catch and kill as many fish as possible," said Madayan. "Yes, we shouldn't let them go. Let's go fishing again," said the fool. The next day, they set out to fish again. Once they were in the sea, Mati said, "Guru, the fish are probably angrier with you than with us. So instead of casting a line, we'll tie you with a rope and lower you into the sea. All the fish in the sea will come to bite you. Then we can catch all the fish immediately," said Madayan. The guru thought for a moment. "What you say makes sense," he said. Immediately, the disciples tied him with a rope and threw him into the sea. Not knowing how to swim, Paramartha struggled to breathe as he sank into the water. On seeing bubbles on the water's surface, the disciples exclaimed, "Oh my, it looks like our guru is catching a lot of fish." As Paramartha's stomach filled completely with water, the bubbles stopped. Thinking he had caught all the fish, the disciples lifted their guru out of the water, but Paramartha lay unconscious. "Looks like he's exhausted from fighting with the fish for so long," said Matty. When Paramartha regained consciousness, he said, "Disciples, the ocean's anger towards us hasn't subsided yet. Somehow we escaped this time. Let's never go near the sea again." Paramartha Guru managed to deceive the king and became the prime minister of Mad Kingdom. Along with him, his disciples were appointed as palace staff. "Now that our guru is the prime minister, we have nothing to worry about," rejoiced the 5 disciples. One day, the king of Mad Kingdom asked Paramartha, "How strong is our army?" Paramartha thought it was the perfect opportunity and replied, "Your Majesty, I hesitate to say this, but our kingdom's elephants have become so starved and weak that they now look like pigs." The disciples chimed in, "Yes, Your Majesty, if this continues unchecked, we are bound to lose in battle." Alarmed, the king ordered, "Is that so? Bring me 2 elephants immediately." The disciples, Matty and Madayan, hurried off and returned with 2 piglets, driving them into the palace. Seeing them, the king exclaimed, "Ugh, this is unbearable to look at. Are these supposed to be our elephants?" Initially, the king was skeptical. "If these are elephants, why don't they have trunks?" he asked. "Your Majesty, these were once elephants with trunks, but due to extreme starvation, their bodies have shrunk, and so have their trunks," Paramartha explained. "What should we do to restore them to their former glory?" the king inquired. "Your Majesty, before that, there's one more issue you should see," the guru said. "Our kingdom's horses are in a similar state. They have all become as small as goats," another disciple added. "Is that so? This is surprising." "What do you suggest we do?" asked the king. "Your Majesty, we have an excellent plan that will cost 1,000 gold coins. Give us the funds, and we'll restore everything to its original state," declared the disciples Muttle and Moodin. The king, being a miser, was unwilling to spend 1,000 gold coins. "If you have any alternative ideas, let me know," he commanded. "Ah! Our plan is ruined," lamented Paramartha. The disciples, too, were frustrated. "Your Majesty, let's release all the elephants and horses into the fields to graze freely. They'll recover in no time," suggested Mandu. "This seems reasonable," the king agreed. Following Paramartha's orders, all the pigs and goats in the Mad Kingdom were let loose. They roamed into the farmers' fields and began grazing. Within 2 days, all the crops were destroyed. By the following month, famine struck the entire kingdom. Many people starved to death as they had no food. Seeing the chaos caused by Paramartha and his disciples, the king chased them all out of the kingdom. "Oh no! We thought we could earn 1,000 gold coins, but we've ended up in this mess," they lamented and returned to their monastery in despair. At the request of Paramartha, the king of Madurai hosted a feast in the palace for him and his disciples, allowing them to stay for the night. As Paramartha lay on a silk mattress, unable to sleep, 2 of his disciples, Mandu and Moodin, also struggled to fall asleep. "Guru, didn't the physician say this morning that walking around might help induce sleep? Perhaps we should try that too," suggested Mandu. "Good idea. Let's do that," Paramartha agreed enthusiastically. "But if we walk in the streets, the guards might mistake us for thieves and arrest us. Let's climb to the terrace instead and take a stroll," said Moodin. Everyone agreed, and they slowly made their way towards the terrace stairs. As they reached the staircase, Mati, one of the disciples, hurriedly pushed past the others, including the guru, and climbed quickly. However, within 4 steps, he slipped and tumbled down, crashing into Paramartha, who then collided with the other disciples. The whole group rolled down the stairs like a chain reaction. "Matty, why are you in such a hurry?" scolded Paramartha. They all got up, dusted themselves off, and climbed the stairs slowly this time, finally reaching the terrace. It was a full moon night, and the city and countryside looked beautiful. "Marvelous! Absolutely marvelous!" exclaimed Paramartha, delighted by the view. Just then, Madayan cried out in alarm. "What is it? What happened?" asked Paramartha, startled. "It's cold," said Madayan. "In that case, you go downstairs and sleep. We'll come down later," said Paramartha. Madayan obeyed and went down. The guru and the others continued to admire the city's beauty. Meanwhile, the city streets were heavily patrolled, with guards and soldiers on horseback moving around. Seeing this, both Paramartha and his disciples grew uneasy. Madayan, who had gone downstairs, climbed back up again and reported breathlessly, "Guru! I went down and saw two men, one stout and one thin, sneaking out of the palace. They must be thieves." "Really? Then we must catch them immediately," said Paramartha. "Come on, everyone, let's go!" The group rushed to the palace gate and saw, as Madayan described, two men, one stout and one thin, trying to escape discreetly. Some guards arrived at the scene and Paramartha shouted angrily at them, "You fools! Look over there! Two thieves are stealing treasures from the palace! Go catch them!" The guards ran in the direction pointed out by Paramartha, followed by him and his disciples, shouting, "Thieves! Don't let them escape!" Hearing the commotion, the city and palace residents woke up and rushed to the streets. The royal road was filled with chaos and shouts. Mudin pointed and yelled, "There they are! Catch them!" Paramartha and his disciples jumped onto the two men, pinning them down. The guards pulled the supposed thieves away and looked closely at them. They gasped in shock. "Your Majesty! Prime Minister, is it you?" they exclaimed. Everyone froze. It turned out that the two thieves were none other than the king and his minister, who were conducting a secret patrol of the city. The guards and citizens fell at the king's feet, begging for forgiveness. "We are sorry. The guru and his disciples mistook you for thieves," they explained, trembling. Paramartha and his disciples were utterly confused. When they realized they had accused the king himself, they trembled in fear. The angry crowd prepared to beat them. However, the king intervened. "Citizens! My minister and I were patrolling the city without anyone knowing, and the Paramartha guru mistakenly thought we were thieves. But if we truly had been thieves, what would have happened? The guru's disciples acted out of good intentions to protect the palace. I appreciate their vigilance and the guru's loyalty to the kingdom. Tomorrow, we shall celebrate this incident with a grand event in their honor." The crowd cheered. "Long live the Paramartha guru and his disciples!" Paramartha and his disciples were overjoyed by the unexpected turn of events.
Inside a temple, two thieves were breaking the lock to steal the deity idols. As Paramartha and his disciples were passing by, they noticed this scene. With humility, Paramartha asked, "Sirs, who are you, and why are you taking these idols?" The thieves were initially startled upon seeing the guru and his disciples. However, they quickly composed themselves and replied, "We are from a faraway place. We are planning to take these idols there." "To a faraway place? Why?" asked Mati. "What's the use of these idols being here? If they are taken to another place, people there will get to see them. That way, the greatness of your town will also be known to others," one of the thieves explained. "The service you are doing is greater than the work of the Alwars and Nyanmars. I truly admire your devotion," praised Paramartha. However, Mati had some doubts. "You're stealing these, aren't you?" he asked. Hearing this, the thieves responded, "Oh no, no. If we were stealing, wouldn't we do it without anyone knowing? We're taking these right in front of you. How can this be considered stealing?" "That's true. Since it's happening in front of us, it's not stealing," agreed Mati. The thieves continued lifting the deity idols. Seeing them struggling, the simpleton asked, "Guru Deva, shall we help them carry these?" "Oh, of course, let's help them," said the guru and began lifting the idols. Eventually, they managed to move the idols of Rama, Sita, and Hanuman. "Guru Deva, these deity idols have been in our village for so long. Now they're going to travel abroad. So, we should perform a special puja before sending them off," suggested the fool. Fearing that someone might come and catch them, the thieves hurriedly said, "Do it quickly." Paramartha hurriedly performed the puja, chanting mantras, while the disciples prostrated before the idols and got up. After the puja, the thieves prepared to load the idols onto the cart waiting outside the temple. At that moment, Paramartha and the three disciples, Mati, Madayan, and Muttal, became overly excited. "We must bid farewell to the deities before sending them off," they said. Shouting loudly, they cried, "Hail Lord Rama! Hail Sita! Glory to Hanuman!" Hearing their shouting, the thieves lost their patience. "You fools! At the last moment, you're making noise and seem ready to ruin everything for us," they scolded. "What's wrong with making noise?" asked Madayan. The thieves, now on the horse-drawn cart, drove away while shouting, "Fools! We're stealing these idols, and you didn't even realize it," revealing the truth. Hearing this, Paramartha and his disciples were shocked. "What? You're stealing them?" exclaimed Muttle, fainting and falling to the ground. "Oh no! Thieves! Thieves!" shouted Mati. Madayan, in an attempt to catch them, ran after the horse cart but tripped, rolled, and fell. Paramartha, in utter shock, stood still like a statue, unable to react. The thieves stopped the cart near Paramartha's monastery, unloaded the idols, and left with their loot. Inside the monastery were Mandu and Mudan, oblivious to what had just happened. "Hey! We're going to sleep here for a while. Until then, keep these idols safe. Once we wake up, hand them back to us," the thieves commanded. Terrified by the thieves, Mandu and Mudan agreed. Soon, the thieves began snoring loudly, having fallen into a deep sleep. "We must protect these idols safely, right? What should we do?" Mandu asked. "We can't guard them properly. We might lose them. Or we might fall asleep ourselves. So, let's take them straight to the king's palace," suggested Mudan. They immediately went to the palace with the idols. At the palace, Paramartha and the other disciples were crying over the lost idols. When Mandu and Mudan arrived with the idols, everyone, including the king, was astonished. Upon hearing what had happened, the king said, "You even helped the idols get stolen. But since everything has been recovered, I won't punish you, nor will I reward you. I'll let you all go." Relieved, the guru and his disciples fled from the palace, thankful to have escaped trouble. Was Herman a donkey and a boy? In a beautiful village, there lived a was Herman in a small house. He had a 5-year-old son and a donkey. One day, he needed to go to a village a little far away, so he took his son and the donkey with him. As he walked along the street, people passing by saw him and started talking. When he listened closely, he heard them saying, "He must be a fool. Why walk when he has a donkey? One of them could ride the donkey." Hearing this, the was Herman thought it made sense and got on the donkey, while his son walked. After a while, some people passing by saw them and said, "He is making the small child walk while he rides the donkey. He could walk, couldn't he? Why make the child walk in the sun? He has no conscience." Hearing this, the was Herman thought, "Yes, I can let the child ride the donkey while I walk." So, he put his son on the donkey and walked beside them. After a while, some people saw them and said, "The old man is struggling in the sun while the child rides the donkey. The child could walk, couldn't he? He doesn't know what hardship is." Thinking this was getting complicated, the was Herman decided that both of them could ride the donkey. So, both the was Herman and his son got on the donkey and continued their journey. After walking a little further, some people passing by saw both of them riding the donkey and said, "Look at how this man is torturing the poor animal. How much weight can it bear? This man has no conscience, he is being cruel to an innocent creature." Hearing this, the was Herman felt very upset. He decided to carry the donkey on his shoulders. As he walked with the donkey on his shoulders, some people on the street saw him and laughed loudly. They said, "He must be a complete madman, carrying a donkey on his shoulders. Can't he just walk? He has lost his mind. There are such lunatics in this village." Not in the list. In an ashram, there was a guru and a few disciples. One day, they all set out on a long journey. They carried cooking utensils, a stove, groceries, and clothes in a bullock cart. They were traveling happily, singing and dancing along the way. At one point, they decided to stop by an orchard to bathe in a nearby water body, cook, eat, and then continue their journey. As they were preparing to cook, they realized that the bundle containing the utensils was missing. The guru asked the disciples, "Where is the bundle with the utensils?" The disciples replied, "It must have fallen off the cart while we were traveling." The guru, quite angry, asked, "Fools! Why didn't you pick it up when it fell?" Then he added, "From now on, pick up whatever falls." The disciples agreed. After bathing and eating some fruits from the orchard, they resumed their journey. While traveling, they saw some cow dung on the road. The disciples immediately stopped the cart, collected the cow dung, and put it in a sack on the cart. The guru was sleeping at that time. When he woke up, he asked, "Why does the cart smell so bad?" The disciples replied, "We collected the cow dung and kept it in the cart." The guru, bewildered, asked, "Why did you collect the cow dung?" The disciples answered, "You told us to pick up whatever falls on the ground." The guru, frustrated, hit his head with his hand and exclaimed, "What sin have I committed to deserve such foolish disciples? Who in their right mind would collect cow dung and put it on the cart?" He scolded them, calling them fools, and said, "From now on, I will make a list of what you should pick up if it falls, and you will only take those things." The disciples agreed. The guru then wrote a list of everything on the cart and handed it to the disciples. They took the list and kept it with them. The cart continued its journey, shaking and wobbling along the way. After traveling some distance, they came across a river. The cart went over a large stone, causing the guru to fall into the river. The disciples, however, did not stop the cart and continued on their way. The guru, struggling in the water, eventually managed to reach the river bank. He then searched for the disciples and caught up with them. Angrily, he asked, "Fools! I fell into the river, and you left without picking me up. Why did you continue with the cart?" The disciples replied, "Guru, as soon as you fell into the river, we checked the list you gave us to see what we should pick up if it falls. Since your name was not on the list, we left you and continued on our way." The guru was at a loss for words, not knowing what to do. Monkey the defense minister. Once there was a foolish king. One day, he went hunting in the forest with his soldiers. Somehow, he lost his way and got separated from his soldiers. He wandered around, lost and helpless. After walking under the scorching sun and feeling hungry, he fainted under a tree. At that moment, a monkey appeared from somewhere and saw the king lying unconscious. The monkey brought some water and gave it to the king. It also brought some fruits to satiate the king's hunger. The king ate the fruits and felt better. The monkey's timely help saved the king's life, otherwise, he would have died. Grateful, the king took the monkey back to his palace. The next day, the king assembled the court and announced that he was appointing the monkey as his minister of defense. The ministers, hearing this, said it was very dangerous to appoint a monkey as the minister of defense, as it was just an animal. They suggested that while the monkey could stay in the palace, it should not be given such a high position. However, the king did not listen. Wherever the king went, the monkey would follow him. If the king wandered in the garden, the monkey would be with him. If the king was eating, the monkey would join him. When the king slept, the monkey would stand guard beside him. One day, while the king was sleeping, a fly started bothering him. The king struggled to sleep because of the fly. The monkey tried various ways to chase the fly away, but it kept disturbing the king's sleep. The monkey became angry. Finally, the fly sat on the king's neck. At that moment, the monkey took its sharp sword and cut the fly into 2 pieces while it was on the king's neck. The king died instantly without even having time to scream. Monkey's banana shop. A monkey opened a banana shop. Seeing the bananas, it felt a strong desire to eat them but controlled itself and sat quietly. After a while, it thought, if I eat just 1 banana, it won't make much difference in such a big shop, and ate 1 banana. After some time, it took another banana and ate it. Thinking, will it really make a difference if I eat just a few, it ended up eating all the bananas. The shop was empty, and the monkey ran back into the forest.